Peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, divine heirs.
Can't wait for these excuses.
Today is November 30th, 2023 on the ancient moon calendar, 2024 on the ancient sun calendar. All rise and stand and remain standing into perpetuity, and according to the ancient Noahide laws, as stated by this holy, holy, holy Congress. This is a sovereign, living ancient Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan Universal Court action. We are the divine, sovereign, living justices, and Eccleston Pauline Denise Ritchie. My free chosen sovereign appellation is Light Tajiri Bay. All are in capitis diminution nolo, in red ink, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredes. We are capit et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal natural head and body for our own sovereign empire. All Moors are the divine, original, indigenous, sovereign, ancient, Al-Moroccan, Moorish American ascendants of the great pharaohs of Kemet and of the ancient Moabites, Canaanites, Israelites, Hamathites, Cushites, and Hittites. Our full faith and trust, our allegiance, our honor, our credit, and our energy are hereby vested in ourselves, for we are the people who are the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient, Empire State, Islamic Muslim Empire State for Morocco. We're the de jure Moorish National Republic federal government. We're the ancient Washington District for Columbia. We're the Universal Moorish American Consulate and the Earthwide Article 3 Moorish American Consular Court. Today we are exercising the law by our sovereign status, which is the original, indigenous, natural, divine, sovereign, ancient Article 3, living United States District for Columbia Court, and we're the sovereign fiduciaries, original creditors, executors, trustees. We're the divine ministers. We are the eternal possessors. We're the titled beneficiaries and titled trustors for all causes for action. We are peace. We are one nation, one state, one empire, and one God. We hereby recognize ourselves and accept our sovereign divine ascension. We do hereby possess in our custody all land, all natural resources, and all commerce. We, the true living God nation, are not at war, and we hereby exercise all eternal, ancient, sovereign rights at this time and at all points in time, not pro-tunc. The principles and laws and processes that we share are not our opinion. We have removed all dead actors from our minds, thereby freeing ourselves from presumed foreign bondage and enacted presumed psychological operations. Along with our sovereign, powerful demonstrations and study, these laws and processes that we share are based on principles of stare decisis, res judicata, and ancient positive supreme law for the land long established in sovereign order. Erudite principles and processes for daily practical application to intelligently govern our vast estate every day is what our ancient ancestors have given us to share with the ancient sovereign nations, tribes, clans, states, and governments at earth. And for this, we are grateful. So just a few quick notes and things just for notification and for the public record. As we've been doing our study and doing our research and all of our more science demonstrations and things, the more I know about us and the more we learn about us, the more ridiculous it appears that we felt we had to prove who we are, because who we are is everywhere. It's everywhere. The names of the states, the land, the cities, the mountains, the roads, the highways, the ancient markers everywhere. And for those who are not familiar with ancient markers, whenever you see one of those big giant stones sitting somewhere, even in the quote-unquote new neighborhoods, sometimes you'll see a place marked off with big giant stones. Those are ancient markers, and it is against the law to move them. So that's why even developers and quote-unquote developers and things of that nature don't move those ancient markers. They stay there. And that should have told us even then. You can go out into some of the farthest places out in the middle of nowhere, and you'll see ancient markers, you'll see monuments, you'll see other monuments and tall statues and things, temples and things out in seemingly in the middle of nowhere. All of it is proof that we've been here. And then all of the archaeological finds that have been found here on the land. There have been findings of bones that are 400,000 years old or more here on this land at ancient America, which is actually Africa. This is Northwest Africa. This is Amexem, Turtle Island, the Maghreb Al-Aqsa. And when I even think about even the word Africa, that word is so powerful, just as all words are in the mouths of the sovereign. For example, when we break down the word Africa, just one moment, let me put that on the screen so that we can see. And this is something that we learned from Empress Shasha, and we had seen it before in the writings and things, but Empress Shasha brought it to our attention about the word K-A-H, Ka. Ka means soul. And so when you're talking about the word a free Ka, Africa, it's a free Ka, a free soul. That is what that word means etymologically when you break it down. And so every word that we use is a very powerful word. Every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the gods it has meaning on so many levels. And with that being stated, also the difference between things that only exist on paper or only previously existed on paper. And that's why our writings were so important, is because we could write in and write out as we choose in creating the worlds that we create. We've written in tropical weather and sunshine and sunlight. We've written in beautiful moonlight. We've written in all of those statements so that our land is a very prosperous and abundant place. We've written out anything that has to do with actors. So as I was doing the study and the meditation on the things that we're doing, the ancestors stated that for those who may have a bit of a harder time not looking in the funny mirror and thinking that what you see in the funny mirror is real, just take the funny mirror and there's no one beside us. Take the funny mirror and physically, with your hands, do a presentment where you take that funny mirror and you just trash it. You set it aside, put it in the trash, break it, crack it, and then proceed knowing that everything that you see from that point forward is real, and that there is us, there's our subjects, there's our land, there's our resources, our commerce, and everything. And so when you proceed in that manner, it makes things a lot easier in terms of knowing what is truth and what is real. With that being stated, a couple of other things. I do see, even though it might have seemed a bit ridiculous for us to even have to prove who we are just because of everything around us, everything was disguised by the funny mirror in the enactment. So it was important that we did write everything out, make it plain. The Biblio says that. Write the vision, write what you see for you and for the nation. Make it plain. That means bring it into this plane here. Write the vision, make it plain, so that he that reads that vision can run with it. That verse in the Bibliotheliotech is the same thing that we were stating before. Head first with your crown on. So when we're thinking things through and manifesting it on paper, that's called head first. Then the feet come afterwards. So that's biblical. Write the vision, make it plain so that everyone who reads it can run with it. And then, most importantly, now that we know who we are, that we record and publish and tell our heirs and put it on the public record. And here's the thing, even for those who do not yet know who they are or who may not believe what we're stating, all we have to do is keep putting it on the public record, keep publishing, keep telling it, keep manifesting it, because it's the same process in the last Funny Mirror enactment where they enacted something in psychology called the broken record technique, where they just no matter how big a lie it is, just keep repeating it and they'll believe it in the enactment. And so now that we are in the era or at the era and we're actually producing the era for truth, just keep stating our truth. Just keep stating it. Keep stating it. Keep saying it. And you know, these congressional these congresses that we're coordinating and putting together, and all of us coming together, these congresses are that. They are that we're going to keep speaking our truth no matter what. With that being stated, a couple of weeks ago, we put a map on the screen. This was the map that we put on the screen. This is every place that's named Palestine. There are 14 places at America called Palestine. And then there was the fake one over in the other in the Funny Mirror. The reason that we brought that up is because of this. If you look on the screen, this is a definition that came from Webster's 1828 unabridged. Wait a minute. This is unabridged dictionary, and it states that the Holy Land is actually Palestine. We know that all land is the Holy Land at earth because we were there first. We were at all lands first. But we wanted to just put this on the record so that everyone can see that again, this land here is also Israel. This land is also Canaan land. This land is also the promised land, except it's no longer promised because we're here. A promise is something in the future. You promise it, you don't have it yet, it's in the future. Well, this is now. No more promised land. We're here already. We've been here. And so we wanted to just to kind of put that out there. We know that some of these definitions in these dictionaries have to be restated so that they state things properly. But we just wanted to make that clear. So I have a question really quickly before we yield the floor to Noble Phoenix for the Congress. In the last Congress, we were looking at the Cherokee let me state that properly, a script and an enactment of a Cherokee court action, basically. And there was a portion in there, and we'll just go to it really quickly. There was a portion in there in the enactment where here on the screen, the one who was the Moor in the enactment, he was having a court action done on him. He had married someone doing business as a Cherokee citizen, a Cherokee citizen, not a real like not a full-blooded Cherokee, but a Cherokee citizen. And that's someone who is a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, because all of the Creeks, the Cherokees, the Iroquois, they all also had citizenry. And so the actor doing business as Department of the Interior asked him some questions. And these questions were also asked of the one that was doing business as the Cherokee citizen. So this says, give me your full name. It doesn't say state your name. It doesn't say what is your name. It says, give me your full name. So what they did was when he stated his name, they took it because he gave it to them. And then they replaced it with a corpse, a dead person. Okay? And when they replaced it with the dead person in the record, he walked around as a dead person, doing business as a dead person. So that means denial. Denied. You get nothing because you're dead. You denied. You are denied. And in this case, there was a denial by the actors. Give me your full name. Now, I went and looked down at the question and the court action that they did on the one that was supposed to be the linchpin to hinge them all together. I looked at her court action and the questions that they asked her. They didn't say, give me your name to her. They didn't say that because they already had her name. And her name is not the issue because she wasn't a full-blooded Cherokee. So her name was not the issue. So they just said, what is your name? Can anyone state the difference between give me your name and what is your name? And let me, just one moment. I'm going to take the meeting out of lecture mode. I'm also going to lock the meeting. Just one moment.
Islam.
And those who are going to speak can speak. What is the difference between give me your name and what is your name?
Islam.
Okay. Give me your name. Is give me your name. You're giving it your. You're let me take it. Whereas what is your name is a question.
By asking the question, what is your name, you're being asked to identify yourself by a name as well.
Yes.
That's the other clue that we need to take from that.
Yes.
Islam. Jurisdiction.
Yes, indeed.
Jurisdiction, when you say give me, that means I want what you have. When somebody says what is, they're inquiring for jurisdiction purposes. They're trying to ascertain something during an investigation. Now, what took place here? Your name versus give me your name. They're sticking you up saying give me your money type of a thing.
It's so funny you should say that, Empress Angel, because that's what we put down here. It's a marriage proposal when they say give me your name. That's a marriage proposal.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your name. Let me have your name. That's a marriage proposal. It's a stick-up. It's theft.
Yeah.
It's theft of birthright.
Yep.
It's a forced marriage proposal at that. Islam infrastructure.
That is so true. And then when I think about even being married and getting married, my name, I took my spouse's name. To be honest, at the time I considered keeping my name, but I kind of liked the name too, so it didn't really. But at the same time, my appellation was the power in that.
Yes.
In all, because she I, the woman, the matriarch, is the empire and the estate. So I can see from a personal place how that is a complete stick up and a theft. Whether a marriage is happy or not, or continues or ends or whatever, on that level, from a jurisdictional, judicial place, it is theft.
It's theft.
Yeah.
A simple question, and actually, give me your name is a command. It's not even a question. It's a command.
Exactly. And the truth is, they did not have jurisdiction. They knew that this man was actually the sovereign. He did not. And so they literally, stole it. The what is your name? They know who the woman was. She's in their jurisdiction. They know that one was a given.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Islam, I yield.
Yes. Islam nobility.
On that question, the second one, what is your name? What they're looking for is for you to identify the name that they're looking at on paper. Yeah. What do we call that? The phonetic thing. What do we call that?
Yeah.
Homonym.
It's a dead letter homonym. That's really. That's one of the things.
It sounds the same.
Yes, that's a homonym.
That's what we're talking about. So they're looking for you to state the name because they're looking at the all caps name, and they're hoping that you're going to sound out what is written on their paper in all caps. But you still have the opportunity to identify who you are and qualify what you are to be called by. So the answer would be, when they ask, what is your name? I do not have a name since I am a man or womb man, and I am not a person nor a thing, because that's what they're trying to identify. And they're getting you to do self-confession to the name that they're looking at.
Yes.
That's what they're doing.
Yes.
Islam.
Islam Empress.
My question, in this particular case, it was a given. This woman was a citizen of their state.
Yes.
It was known. Her name was already known. Her status was already known.
Yes.
Just the confirmation or the consent.
Yeah.
Because this was a premeditated theft.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And let me state here, Noble Phoenix, you stated something that was very, very key to one of the points that we wanted to make clear, to clarify in terms of Moors. When we speak to each other, or we're assisting one another, and let's say Moors are coming in for a benefit, to take advantage of a benefit on the land, we don't idem sonans, Empress Camilla. Yes, it is. That is one of the terms that we brought forth out of Black's Law Dictionary. However, with Moors, we wouldn't ask them either one of these questions right here. We would say, who are you? If we want to know. Who are you? There's a difference between a who and a what. If you answer the question, what is your name, you're agreeing to be a thing.
Correct. Yes.
That is why on out of all the documentation that was in the funny mirror, they never said, who are you? They never said, who are you? So, with that being stated, let us, I just wanted to point that out. And I see that someone doing business as Moorish American Associated Press is putting a bunch of things in the chat. Listen, there's a order of business that we do here. And if we wanted to spend our whole time looking at YouTube, we would do that. We would do that, but that's not why we're here. So what I am going to do, because we're going to stay on task, is put you out. That's what we're going to do, so that we don't get off task in looking at all of the videos that you want us to see. So let's see. Be quick about what you're doing, because you're about to be put out of here. Just one moment. Quickly, put as many as you can get in there before we put you out. Just a moment. And so, you know, we know all of that stuff. We know fake press. We know fake stories that want to denationalize. We don't have time for that. So with that being stated, we wanted to point out that was it was really a stick up. It was theft of birthright and things like that. And that's another reason why the Constitution says that the Senate does not answer questions lest it be in Congress. That's where we answer questions. We don't do it on anyone's application. If there's something that we want to take advantage of on our land, we just get that application, we take it, and we restate the whole thing from start to finish. Restate the whole thing. So, because here's what happens. With this particular court action, they put it on the quote-unquote public record so that we could see when we woke up where the fraud was, where the theft was. It was more as agreeing to not look at the Constitution and say, oh, we don't answer questions. Is this Congress? Is this a court action? Because if it's a court action, this is our court. And we're asking all the questions. Because the way the public record works, speaking of putting things like this on the public record, is that whoever creates the public record in their species governs the public record and creates the laws. Therefore, once the public record is established by the sovereign majority, which is what we've done when we said, hey, write it out, put it on affidavits, put it out, everyone. We can all use the same letterhead. Let's go, put it out there. All we were doing was establishing a proper and true public record. Once the public record is established, anything placed on the public record to the contrary of that which is placed on the public record by the sovereign majority is notwithstanding. So the brilliance of all of us coming together and agreeing to just keep publishing, keep publishing, keep publishing. Just continue to publish. The public record has been established by the massive number of ancient Moorish American Al-Moroccan documents that have been published, thereby creating the public record for all people in our favor. Our public record has now overcome, is now the overseeing public record, and does now overstand all other.
You have nothing tangible to prove this. It's all blah, 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 blah.
So we have a mute button to prove that the public record belongs to us. With that being stated, there has been no writing that has rebutted our presentment. None. And we did show you our federal way presentment where our documents are ancient documents. There was about 100 and something pages of our documents in red, affidavits in red, in all lowercase letters in ancient English that was placed on the record. And that is actually what validates a record, is that the real records are there instead of fake acting script records. So we showed where our records are on the public record, that the subjects here at Federal Way, and it's not City of Federal Way, that's not what that is. We're the city. We're Federal Way City. There's no federal but the Moors. So there's no state but the Moors. There's no county but the Moors. There's no city but the Moors. There's no government but the Moors. So Islam Justice North. You know what? Let me see if we can pull that up just really quickly. We want to, here, I'll just go to Google. Let's see if we can.
Your First Avenue building is trouble.
It's complete. Your audio is terrible, and for good reason. Let's see, and it's not your audio; it's our audio. That's probably why it's bad for you. I'll just see if I can pull it up here. I did see something in the Bureau of Prisons, quote unquote, .gov. There were some Moorish documents that were placed on their the Bureau of Prisons. Just one moment. And see, all of this, the stuff that's here is going to be crowded out as well. Just one moment. Let's see if we can find it. Boy, it's a lot of stuff on the public record. A lot of stuff on the public record. And, you know, there were some who were saying Moors don't exist and all of this and that, but Google says otherwise. So let's see. All we have to do is keep doing what we're doing. Indeed. Federal Way. Yes. Okay. Here's some other. Just one moment. Listen, we're looking back on all of this that we're seeing right now. We're looking back on this, and it is amazing to us. Let's see, about 3 million, almost 4 million results for things that have to do with Moors. Let's see if we can find it. I just want to take one moment, and I'm actually Empire State Government News. Oh, yes, indeed. Wow. Okay. Moorish. We have really, I'm just grateful for everyone.
How did you tell them about paying your property taxes on October?
I'm so grateful for all of the documentation that's on the public record by the Moors. And this is what we're talking about the public record. Look at all of the information that comes up. legal forms, Moorish National Republic, federal government here. We're literally drowning out here it is again, Moorish National Republic. We're literally drowning out all of the craziness. All it took, and look what images come up when we pull up, when we put this in. Look at the images that come up.
Islam, Empress.
Islam.
The link that you previously shared, I just put it in the chat.
Islam. Thank you, Empress.
You're welcome. I do my best to keep track.
Thank you. And look, they don't want you to see it. Just one moment. Let me get rid of that.
And put it again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let me just find the one that's trying to stop everyone from seeing what's going on. Let me just find that one. Okay, let's take a look at it and see. So, yes, here it is right here. The only thing that validates the record is that these documents are here. That this is what makes the record a real record. And the only thing that's real is what we state is real. And what did we do? We liened, we levied, we bonded. And here we'll make it a little bigger. These records. And then we have it that the debtors have agreed to be debtors with their signature. So, with this being stated, this is what makes the public record a public record at all, is that the more our documentation is there. And our documentation supersedes all other documentation. And that is why the building is still standing there. It's still there. And there's been no movement on it because there can't be any movement on it because of our documentation that we put. Now the ancestors have, and this is the part that's exciting, the ancestors have given us the reason why we were impressed to get such a large building. And so over the next few days and weeks and months, and it's probably going to be about 3 months, when we start to share with you what we're doing with regard to that. Some things we're keeping off the public record for now, but let me say this about it, because the building is already ours, we know that. There's a video that we did, and this is going to be for all of those, all on this, at this Congress, who are going to be doing commerce at your territories. This is what we're doing, is going to be the pilot for that. We've already started doing commerce already. But the video that we want to put, we're just going to put a link in the chat to the video that has everything to do with the use for that building. This is a video that we did probably, let's see, it's a 2 or 3 minute video. So we want to be sure that everyone is clear about how we're proceeding and the things that we state that we're doing, we're absolutely doing. The ancestors are clearing the path for everything that we're doing, especially commerce. So give me just a moment. Let me pull that video up. Just a moment. And again, you know, we try to prepare everything for the Congress before the meeting starts. We don't always get to do that. Today was one of those days that we didn't get to prepare everything beforehand. However, here's the video right here. It's a 2-minute sovereign service announcement video that just one moment. And we're going to put the link in the chat so that you can see what we're doing in terms of the things that we stated in the past and how those things are manifesting. So we put this video in the chat. The link is in the chat. Just one moment. Just one moment. Regarding our commerce that we're going to be doing, we've already started the commerce. When we started the federal driver license program, that was the start of this video. And this video was done long ago. So everything that we're stating that we're doing, we're absolutely doing it. Just one moment. Just a moment. Okay. And we'll put this link under the video. So with that being stated, the public record is earthwide, just so that everyone is aware. No writing has rebutted our presentment. No one has rebutted it because no one can. All of the presentments that we've put on the public record, no one can rebut them. The public record is earthwide. So we can see what's on the public record in other lands, and other lands can see what's on the public record here. With that being stated, one last thing before we yield the floor. We've been looking at the gold and the silver, and there's been, in the funny mirror, there's been an enactment that states that they found 58 billion in gold somewhere, or rare earth minerals in Wyoming, and so on and so forth. We know that our land has rare earth minerals everywhere. We wanted to, because we've been looking at the coinage and things, we want to make it clear how you can tell if something is real gold and the purity of that item as we're looking at the coinage. There's something called a siliceous stone, a black siliceous stone. What you would do with the gold coin or whatever is scratch the black siliceous stone, and we'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. The scratch would contain traces of gold in it, which is left on the stone. And you can do that with, let's say, 14 karat gold, 24 karat gold, 18 karat gold. You can scratch each item on the stone, and then you pour acid on the scratches. And if the scratch disappears, then the object that made the scratch is not gold or is not very pure. And it also depends on the level of acidity of that acid. The degree to which the scratch reacts will tell you if the gold is real and how pure it is. The strength of the acid is to be considered as well. So this is one of the other alchemical or chemical presentments that we wanted to bring. These are siliceous rocks. They're found everywhere. You can find them everywhere out in nature. This is what some of the siliceous rock looks like as well. Okay. So sandstone, siliceous stones, and you can take any of those stones, and if you have the coin or whatever, you make a line on the coin. And when you make the line on the coin, you pour a little acid over it. And if the line disappears when you pour the acid, it's either not a very pure gold coin or it's not gold at all. If the line stays there, then it's good. And it depends on the level of gold that's contained within the coin. Okay. So at this time,
Islam, I just want to state that just shows how we are the scientists at Earth.
Yes, indeed. And again, we're going to continue to bring those types of that type of information forward as we continue to take in the gold, because again, gold, silver, and things have been coming to our treasury, and we want to because other Moors, you all will be taking in gold and silver as well in your presentments. We're sharing the information, from start to finish as we get that information. So without further ado, we want to present Noble Phoenix, Meekah L, so that he can do his presentment. Noble Phoenix, are you present?
Yes, I am present and accounted for.
Islam. Okay, so I'm going to actually turn the presenter option over to you, if that's okay.
Yes, so I can share my screen. Perfect. But I do not see an option here to share screen.
Okay, let me send it to you, Noble Phoenix. Just one moment. Yes, Empress Rose, I hear you. Yes, the conference is unlocked, Empress Rose. Let's see, share presenter. Just one moment.
Okay.
It's going to pop up over there where you are, Noble Phoenix, in just a moment. Indeed.
And just for clarification, Phoenix is in OE.
Indeed.
Just like Phoenix, Arizona, OE.
Indeed. When we fell differently sometimes. But that was actually a mistake.
I know.
Indeed. Just one moment.
And just for everyone's benefit, I've already put into the chat the 3 or 4 items that I'm going to be presenting from. So if you want to, you can pull down the presentation, the definitions, and so forth that I've already put in the chat.
Islam. I can't see them, and there's a whole heap of stuff. Well, let me see.
I put them in before all the nonsense was thrown in there. So you have to scroll back to maybe the top.
I'm at the
okay,
top.
it's asking me for a password. Okay, this is my password.
Could you redo it? Because I went to the top, but I don't see it.
And it depends on what time people came in. If they came in after you put it in there, they won't see it, Noble Phoenix. So
okay.
Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. Just take me a moment.
Wonderful.
Okay. You know what? They that all of the stuff that's in the chat, they want to make it like we're your leaders, but we're not your leaders. So I don't even know why that matters. Moors lead themselves. So just one moment. And none of that is true. None of that stuff is true. I'm so glad I love us. Our ancestors have done it.
Bitch, it's all true and you just won't fucking admit it, you stupid cunt. It's all true, you fucking dumb bitch.
Okay, it's loading up in the chat now.
Yes, it is.
Wonderful.
I'm sorry, I got to laugh at that. That was just hilarious.
I'm just like, ooh, they are big mad. They're cute. They're wearing a mad cape.
Isn't it?
Okay, can my screen be seen right now?
Pauline, you are so fucking full of shit, and we all know it. You're fucking full of shit.
Ooh. Okay, Noble Phoenix, Islam.
Can my screen be seen right now? Should have a PowerPoint slide up here, the why.
Okay, just a moment.
We do.
Let me see if we can.
Silly dyslexic Negro, can't even spell Phoenix. Silly dyslexic Negro, can't spell Phoenix.
Ooh, you should have been a comedian. They should have been a comedian. That's funny. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and...
Can we see it now?
Yes. Basics of reinsurance.
Okay, I don't have that pulled up yet. I have the old funny mirror pulled up.
Nope.
It says Basics of Reinsurance, Munich, R.E.
Okay.
Sindiswa, Mabel Wayne.
Okay, I'm not sure why that is showing up because I don't even have it pulled up. But I put it in the chat. So do you have that open?
I do.
That's right. So it's showing your screen.
But you do have the presenter option, right? You have the presenter.
How about you send it to me again?
Okay.
And let me try it one more time.
Let me see. It says that switch presenter. Are you sure you want to switch presenter? Yes.
There we go. Now I see it. Okay.
Okay.
Auto share new items, desktop, and continue. Okay. So let me get out of that. Minimize one. Now how about my screen?
Yes, we can see it now.
Fantastic. All right. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through the presentation. It's a PowerPoint presentation first. We're going to go through a few definitions. Then we're going to wrap it all up and connect all three to the actual reinsurance bonds that we do. And you'll have a clear understanding. That's my purpose in doing this, is to clarify further the reason why we're doing all of these bonds. Okay? And I hope, it's not that I hope, I intend to make sure that the clarity is provided. Some of you already have it, and I hope to be able to enhance it with a further understanding of what we're doing and why we're doing it. So without any further ado, let me begin. Okay, so first of all, in order to properly understand why we're doing what we're doing, we do have to take a look at the old funny system that we just came out of, so as to better understand what we're doing now and its purpose, and how the effect of what we're doing is going to roll out, and what's already happening. Number one, everything they were doing was not grounded to the land. It was a court system based on fictionally dead entities, juridic persons, as they call them. Okay? That's the way it was, and that's what they were doing. So to create a picture in our minds, remember the USA, the United States Corporation Company, blah, 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 okay? That fictional entity, they received their sustenance, and I'm creating a picture in your mind, from their mother, which was the corporation, mother corporate matrix, if you want to call it, okay? And it was a civic and social welfare organization. The IRS defines that as a 501A, civic and social welfare, which means they were to give it all away, that which didn't even belong to them. And what they were giving away was the resources and the energy that they were creating fictionally from our labor, from our estates, from our value. That's what was fueling them, okay, in the old mirror. That included all agencies, and there were several hundred of them, all 51 states of the union, because they were state of. All the Delaware corporations, because that's where almost all of them went, because that's an international portal for them, and for other companies outside of the mainland to come through and to register under the United States of America. Now, they justified by the presumption of your dead status, because we did not do a rebuttal to their presumption of being dead. In other words, we did not operate in our proper person, our proper selves, with our nationality intact. So the assumptions they made by us not saying anything, putting anything on the public record, as we just discussed, okay, consistently and unanimously, as a nation state should and now have done, their presumption went unrebutted. That's what was fueling them. So now I want you to think of them, since that was mother, they were feeding off of mother's mammary milk. You know what I'm saying there, okay? Since 1871, okay? In the meantime, mother received the sustenance in order to supply all of her puppies, all of her children, and feed all of them that mammary milk and all of the things that they were distributing, so-called welfare to the corporate America. She was giving it all to them because she was being fueled by our vast land estates and property, our gold, our precious metal, our resources, our energy. That's what was sustaining her, okay? Now, because of what we are doing and what we have been doing for many years, but we've come together collectively and have been doing it so proficiently, okay? The presumption of the dead status now being rebutted is having the effect that it needed to have, and that is to dry up the resource she was using to feed her corporate puppies, okay? Again, the cause and effect, mother's source of energy has been cut off because the birth certificate bonds, treasury bonds, the funding of the government corporations and the municipalities are all being shut off. They don't have access to these resources. And the nations around the world have followed and agreed, yes, it's time for mother to be cut off, because they've done the same. And they're not buying into the fictional juridic everything that they created. They're not buying it anymore, okay? So the lien, levy, and bond process, remember what it's there for. And this is why the cause and effect is being discussed here, okay? The lien is to claim what is yours, ours, by right of blood, by right of inheritance. And we're going to cover a little bit more about that quickly in the definitions part.
Noble Phoenix.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, never mind. You had gone out for just a moment.
Oh, I did? I don't know why. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, well, if you can hear me now, okay, though?
Yes.
Okay.
We can hear you.
All right, fine. So the levy process is to do what? To take back what was ours, what was unlawfully taken or occupied or claimed as belonging to someone else. Okay? So that's the levy process. Okay? Now, the bonding is we're not bonding them, but rather we're bonding the new entity that we have restated on the land and is now backed by our real assets, not out in the ocean, not in admiralty, but on the land. Okay? Our resources, our more sovereign deliverer, tied to all of us and tied to the land as heirs. Okay? So, again, that's for the restated nationalized entity that we have created through the 10-step process. And it is to secure and bind those public servants working in those previous, they thought was they were the office and they thought they were in charge. But on our land, no, they're not. Those are our offices. We're claiming them back. And they're going to work under our authority on the land, our direction and oversight. Okay? They're going to still do the bulk of the work. And that's fine. But it'll be under our what? Jurisdiction. Because it's on what? Our land. So for the first time since 1933, the subjects, the people, and the heirs, we too, will have the use of lawful money. Because remember, during the act of being bankrupt, because we were never bankrupt on our land, we never were, they were acting as if we didn't have money, so they gave you private monopoly money. Now, understand again that the bonding process, okay, guarantees what? Lawful payment by the Constitution, which is what? Gold and silver. Okay? And it also guarantees performance of the subjects doing what? Public works as government, which we are government, and they're just, doing what they need to do, okay, to carry out government ministry for the people. And public services, whether it's construction or non-construction, et cetera, whatever it is, okay? When we bind the new, say, not state of Florida, but Florida state, okay, as an example. Now it's tied to the land. It is bonded now, and I'm going to show you that, all right? It is now bonded so that their activities not only are tied by the land, backed by the gold and everything else, it is now lawful, and they can lawfully operate on our land, okay? Or we can lawfully operate on our lands, okay? Our new governments, our new whatever the entity is, national treasures, okay? Because those are our resources, and they owe a service. We all owe a service to each other on our lands, is the way I'm going to state that. Okay? Now, the effect, again, is peace on our land. Because why? Why does this help bring peace on our lands? Simply because all the wars were bankers' wars. And they were acting like they had unlimited access, okay, forever and ever to our estates because they didn't think we were going to wake up. So they were enslaving everyone with their fake monopoly money, their fake debt, their fake everything. And as long as they could get away with it, they were going to continue it. Fortunately, the ancestors saw fit to wake enough of us up to keep the work going for years and years and years, and to have the seeds planted so that at a certain time, more and more of us would wake up, and that is now. Okay? All right. So some other things to keep in mind from the oral statements of Prophet Noble Joel Lee. I just want to throw these last three in here. There were more. I said I'm going to just leave it to these three. Okay? One day, every wheel of industry is going to stop, and when they start up again, it will be in the Asiatics' favor. We're seeing that now. The nations around the world literally have said, no, we're not taking your fiat. We're not taking no mess from y'all. We don't care about you got the biggest, powerful guns and everything. We got guns too, but we don't need them. All we need to do is stop using your mess, and you will die on the vine because you get no water. You get no more milk. You have nothing, and we won't trade your bonds anymore. We won't use them. So the wheels of industry, the prophet said it was going to stop. It did stop. It has stopped. Okay? But when it starts up, it's going to be in our favor. How is it starting up? With what you're doing, that 10-step process, lien, levy, bond, 1099-C, 1099, the proper exchange on the record, the whole list is how it's starting up in the Asiatic's favor. Okay? The next one, the European will not be able to remove all the wealth from the land. Oh, they can't go nowhere with our stuff. Well, you can't go nowhere because everyone's watching. Everyone sees them. They're being exposed. They're busy running for their lives because they're being collected, et cetera, et cetera. I ain't going into detail on that. All right. I'm going to leave the European here just long enough to teach you, meaning us, how to run the government. And what did we do? We learned from watching what they were doing in the funny mirror, acting as if they had authority. And then when we come along with the real authority, you say, okay, well, we're going to restate that because we know that they were hypothecating this. They were falsely stating that. Well, we're going to correct that record. We're going to correct how they did things, and we're going to do it the right way, properly. And we're going to put it on the record, and we're going to do it through a court action, which is the only real court, ours, Article 3 court, living courts, okay, which none of theirs were, and none of them ever could be, okay? Islam on that part. All right, so I'm going to transition from that to, let's see, our definitions page, document. Give me just a moment to pull that up. I had it open. And, of course, any questions on that part, since I'm paused right for the moment?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. Thank you so much for this presentment. I'm learning already.
Fantastic. All right, give me a moment here. Let's do it this way. I know it's pulled up. Definitely.
Islam.
Go ahead.
When you were stating the transition that cuts off mother's source of energy, correct me if I'm wrong, you were stating it from the perspective of Mother Earth. We're cutting off their connection.
No, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to Mother Earth. I symbolically referred to the United States Corporation Company as the mother, the matrix, from which all of the corporations we call corporate America and corporations around the world have been feeding off of mother's mammary glands.
Okay, so it's the corporate mother.
They are the corporation mother, and the corporation mother receives nourishment from our estates as long as they thought we were still asleep at the wheel.
All right, I just wanted to get clarity on that part. So it's a corporate mother. Corporate mother. All right.
And we needed to dry mother's milk so they can't feed no more, which makes them die without nourishment from mother, their mother. Are we clear on that illustration?
Very well. Yes, thank you.
If I may add just a little, even fine-tune it a little more, you've done a great job. I just want to add this little part. That was the dead mother. She was dead from the beginning. That was the fake, false, dead womb from the beginning. And they were acting like the living, but they were zombies and shell corporations and things like that. So they were feeding off of something that wasn't even real in the first place. And because we're the living, we could not prosper as we all should and as we are now in that era. We could not, because it was all acting and fiction. Islam.
Oh, my gosh. I hate this. This is the only thing I don't like about my little Mac computer is if you minimize the window, you don't always get to find it right away.
You are preaching to the choir. I don't have a small one like that, but sometimes I can't find things either, Noble Phoenix, so we're patient. We will just wait.
I appreciate that.
Islam. We have time.
All right.
Islam. No. Phoenix, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Thank you.
Doing a great job.
Yes, he is.
I just got to find the others. Here we go. Oh, okay. There we go. That's what I should have been looking for. Because it's with that group right there. There it is. All right, definitions is what I'm looking for. I had a specific document just for that.
While you find that document, I have to say, Noble Phoenix, this thought came to me even the other day. You remind me of Solomon.
Why is that?
Because you speak with a lot of wisdom.
Thank you.
And I just remember the story of when the Queen of Sheba came. She thought she was bringing some things to Solomon until she saw how he ran his estate.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he ran it was just every detail was in order. Everything was just perfect. And,
well, I think that's an observation, but I will honestly admit, I asked for wisdom. I asked for understanding.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And that's what I saw. So that, because literally what I saw when I first got started with this, as I was going through it myself, there was confusion because there was not enough people making the connections. They would give you the information, but they wouldn't make the connection. And I saw that early on. I'm like, but what about this? What about that? How does that connect to the whole? I still don't understand why.
Yeah.
And because of that, that became my primary focus from that point on. So for almost 10 years, that's all that I've done is focused on the why and connecting those parts that are separate so that people can see the whole picture clearer.
Yes.
Everyone's vision gets better and better and better over time, the more pieces that are added to the puzzle.
Yeah.
That's what happens. All right, so let's go to the definitions. So in our bonds, all of these are appropriate and are mentioned within the bonding process. So first of all, we have the term entitlement. Entitlement has the root of it to entitle, and it is to give a right or a legal title to something in a sense. Okay, that's in the usual sense. But I like the part that I have highlighted in blue, which says to qualify for, to furnish with proper grounds for seeking or claiming. Who has the highest claim on our land? No one but us. Okay? They were acting as if they had a claim, but they did not have the proper grounds for seeking or really making a true claim. Okay?
I pity you poor.
In ecclesiastical law, to entitle is to give a title or ordination, okay? Coronation, we just talked about that, corona, a few weeks ago or in the last several meetings, as a minister, as a servant, minister being a servant, okay? And are we not servants in our official capacity to each other and to the law of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice? Yes, we are.
Hey, Pauline, how come your eyes fucked up tonight? I thought you were.
So the next one, to inherit. So we talk about our inherited rights and our inheritable blood, okay?
Take a bath, toners. You look like a homeless bum.
It is to take by descent from an ancestor, to take or to receive as a right or as a title by law.
Nice KFC.
At his or her decease. Okay. Now, this is where it got really interesting as I was going through this. You have the right, we said, by blood right? That's inheritable blood. This is the Black's Law legal definition. Okay. Blood, which has the purity, which means the purity they're talking about here is freedom from attainder. And you stop right there, because if you don't understand what that word attainder really means, you miss the whole point of this paragraph, of this definition. So we're going to go down and we're going to look at attainder. Attainder, at common law, is that extinction, to extinguish, to put out the fire of, the light of, civil rights and capacities, which took place whenever a person who had committed, here we go, a treason or felony received the sentence of death for his crime. Now, when those who went through the prisoner of war camps for so-called felony violations did not receive death sentences of a literal death, they received civil death, okay? In their enactment, they were acting as if they were civilly making that person dead. Okay. Wow. So let's continue with that. That's what was going on.
Mm.
So the effect of that bill of attainder on the felon, the one who was charged with felony, in general terms, was that all his estate and real and personal property was forfeited. That's the conviction. Well, we convicted him of this. We convicted him of that, even though it was a fake venue. You ain't convicted nobody of nothing. But in their enactment, this is what they were attempting to do.
Yeah.
And they would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for those pesky Moors waking back up again. Right out of the I had to throw that in there.
Yes.
All right. So at common law, the attainder resulted in 3 different ways. I love this. By the explanation. By confession. When you admit to the name, boom, that's confession. Because what did they tell you as soon as they grab you? Everything you say can and will be used against you. That was your confession. You just confessed that jurisdiction to take everything from you by confessing to the name. And by not stating who you are, when you had a moral obligation to state for the record, on the record, who you are and who you are not. You can't say, I'm not the person, without saying who I am.
Yes.
You cannot. So by your confession, by not stating for the record who you really are, and stating it properly and competently, and not having that on the record, you confessed to being what they say you were. You did not rebut the presumption that you are our dead property, chattel property. Okay. They also did it, they say 3 ways, by verdict. By the verdict, it says sometimes the person would plead guilty where? At the bar. Meaning what? The British Accredited Registry, their private bar system. This is where the 12 presumptions of court come into play. There's 12 primary presumptions that they make, one of which is you're a juridic person. You're a ward of the state. You're dead. You're not there. So we summoned you and you showed up and didn't state for the record that who you really are and who you're not. So all of our presumptions went unrebutted, so therefore they stand as truth. This is all in the old funny mirror. Okay? So whether you pleaded guilty, and if you notice the second time, it says whether you pleaded not guilty at the bar, and the jury still came with a verdict against you. These are all the ways they create a bill of attainder against the living man or woman who doesn't know their proper status. Did you catch how I said that? It was all against your juridic person, the all caps name, but since it's the tail wagging the dog instead of the dog wagging the tail, they got it in reverse, and you went along with it through ignorance or through not knowing, not studying, and then not taking action if you did not. Once you do, you can correct the error of your way, because this is what it's all about. We needed to go through such pains that we went through with the old mirror to wake us up so we could stop sleeping, because it's uncomfortable when the heat's turned on. That prompts us to take action to turn the heat back down. Okay? Now, in England, this is where the whole idea of attainder came from, which, again, this paragraph tells you specifically the consequence upon conviction was the corruption of the blood. You're no longer an inheritable more in their eyes. But that's not true, because it was all done in fraud. Okay? They're talking about forfeiture as cheatment, which is as cheating your estate. Okay? All of that, eventually they said was abolished, and it went against the Constitution, Article 1, Section 9, as you see here, expressly denied. But yet they were still playing it out and acting it out on people under the statutory language, which is what? Legalese. Okay? Now, okay, so let's get back now. I had to go through all of that so that we can get to these last 3 right here. And then you're going to see the connection between all of these. Okay, you may not pick it up all of it right away, but you will see the connection. Okay, in the last part of our bonding process, we talk about a surety and who is the surety. We're going to go over that quickly. Then we talk about the trust entitlement bond. Okay, remember we just went over entitlement. Okay, now we add the word trust in front of it. Trust entitlement bond. That's one. Then the other one is a payment bond for statutory bond payment, something like that. We'll see it in just a moment. Okay. But now let's talk about what reinsurance really is.
And still nobody has a free conveyance.
So first of all, there's three parties to make that happen. You have a direct writer, you have a surety.
No free cell phone.
And then you have reinsurance. A direct writer is our new company in many cases. It's going to be the
no free domicile.
Okay. Or it's going to be the United States for America. Okay. It can be either one. Okay. It's going to be the direct writer. It can also be your entity. Okay. Your entity can be a direct writer. Okay. But it's restated and it's bound, I should have put a U there, B-O-U-N, bound to our ancient lands with real assets, gold, back, and money, which makes it a principal writer and
your eye is so fucked up, Paul.
It makes it eligible to do what it is doing because it's gold-backed currency, not fake monopoly, debt-based, slave-backed energy of chattel property, not based on that. Now, the surety is not the individual man or woman, but rather it is what? In our case, it's going to be the gold. Gold is what's going to insure and be the surety, not us as living people, not us as natural persons, not our trade name, but rather the gold is going to be the surety because it's our resource, which is what it should have always been, real asset. Why should I stand as surety when I have all the wealth of the land, all the wealth of the Most High has provided to all of us? Why should I stand as surety? Just my access to my wealth should be enough, and we're making that a reality. Okay. Now, the third one being the reinsurance company. What is a reinsurance company? It is a second or a third party that assures and guarantees several things. The bid, not so much, but rather the payment and the performance of the bonded party. In this case, that's going to be the new restated company or corporation, previously corporation, that was acting as if they had authority. And they were out in admiralty. Remember we mentioned that? Okay, they were on the sea. We're bringing them and bonding them to the land. Therefore, that company now, being bond to the land, must perform. They also must be bonded. So we're guaranteeing the performance of that new entity and all of these subjects working for that entity in the event of what? There is a loss, there's a breach of contract, there's an obligation and a duty to perform, and it doesn't happen. There's an obligation and a duty to serve, and it doesn't happen. There's a obligation to deliver product of service, and it doesn't happen. If there is a cause, if there is a case where there's an injury to others, such as in the public, by the so-called workers of that new worker, the subjects working, okay, doing their performance, and they cause damage to public property or injure someone in the public, instead of suing them through corporate bar association venues, all of that stuff's going away. Why? Because the real courts are back on the land. That's the part sometimes we miss. Okay? So we can assist the public when they have been injured because of what? The corporation spilled oil all over the doggone place. Think about the natural disasters. The unnatural disasters caused by these corporate entities where they destroy the environment. We have the ability, the capacity, and the duty to assist in cleaning up. Now, what did they normally do in the past? They would simply slap them on the wrist with a fine, and they would pay some fiat money, which was just a paper stroke and ink on a piece of paper. They didn't pay nothing, and the damage was all done. We have the real ability to be able to handle the injuries first to the people. Okay? The land as well. Mother Nature is going to clean it up over time, but we can assist. Okay? But that's something that people don't even contemplate. That's part of what we're doing in bonding the new state, like Florida State, Washington State, whatever state you're living in. Okay? Whatever state is used to call itself the state of. I'll put it that way. And now you're going to govern over that state. That's what you're really doing. That's why you're doing these things. Okay? Further explanation.
May I clarify just a little bit there? Also, Noble Phoenix, thank you. You're doing an awesome job. It's really not. It's more of a creation of a new heaven and new earth.
Yes.
It's new state. So the dead is buried the dead, and now we have new. This is Washington. This is Federal Way. You're at Florida, and this is all the land. The land has always been here. It always will be here. The structures are here and things. It's just that it's new. Everything is new. So we're not dragging the old dead thing into the new era. We're leaving it back there in the funny mirror because it didn't really, there's nothing to drag except unless you bring a funny mirror or a fake matrix, a false matrix or a false mother, quote unquote, into this new era.
Phoenix, there's a real offer in the chat. If you want a real.
So, Islam, I yield the floor.
Okay, yes, excellent. And I did bring that up. I just mentioned that. I just didn't go into a lot of detail. But when I talked about we rename the company and we restate the company, correction, because now that's our national asset being restated. Because everything they've been doing doesn't belong to them. It belongs to us because they use all of our resources on our land. And, and we have not really received the full benefit. All we've received is debt instruments on top of more debt instruments being sent out and presented to us as if we owed them something. When in fact, it was just the opposite. They owed us for using our resources to create the wealth or the alleged wealth. Okay? So I'm in full agreement with what you just stated. But again, the whole point of reinsurance was to use a deep pocket to guarantee performance, to guarantee payment whenever there was a loss. That was the whole concept of reinsurance. So when you translate that to what we're doing with a bid bond, action bond, and the payment bond, and trust entitlement, and then the bond statutes, this is all for the benefit, as you just stated, for our new entity, so that it's fully secured, fully able to handle anything and everything that it needs to handle for the benefit of all of us on our land. Yeah. That's what it's doing. Okay? Now let's take a quick look at what that looks like with the completed bond again. Okay? Which one am I going to use? I'm going to use Orange County, Florida government. All right, I've highlighted a couple things. All right, so just so you know, this is, of course, the way we structured and set it up. The LME is the way that I preferenced to restate my Orange County, Florida. Probably should have left out creditor, but that can be revised. All right, I'm hearing an echo line. Okay. Still hearing an echo. Is there an extra mic open? There we go. So LME is for Lands of the Moorish Empire, is the way that I chose to preference the restated number. Lands of the Moorish Empire, LME. Okay, it's an abbreviation that I give a definition to. 596000773 _2. All right. So that's the way I did it. They are both aligned to the post office and the Florida State government creditor bond that I also created. Okay, they're all connected. All right, got their flags on here, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, just scrolling through here. I'm gonna skip right down to. Oh wait, first I want to hit the bid bond real quick. Okay, so on the bid bond, their budget for Orange County is $6.8 billion a year. Right now, they're up to $6.8 billion. So 3 times that amount with about 18. I rounded up to 20, and I specified a time frame, not for the bid date. The bid date was November 1st, nunc pro tunc, for $20 billion, but for the term of the contract of my new company, I basically used almost a 2-year period. I did it from November 1st to October 31st, 2025, which gives me the opportunity to look back and see, okay, how much of this did we use? Was it needed? Did we get all of the services and products and everything else that I wanted to have conveyed to the public and done on behalf of the public, on behalf of all of us. So that gives me a time frame to work with. And so if they need more funding, I can adjust accordingly. If there's funding left over, I don't have to do as much on the next bond. That's my thinking so far, okay? And you'll notice I also did a little other change here in case y'all didn't catch this. Anybody see that right there that I'm pointing at?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You see that?
Yes. Money sign.
It's got the 2 stripes in there. I forgot what you call them, but it represents real money, not fiat money.
That's
all right. Yeah. So that's based on gold. Okay. So that's the action bond. Same thing. Bid bond, action bond, they're both in agreement. And when you look at the terms for reinsurance, traditionally, it needed to be consistent. At least the payment and performance needed to match the amount of reinsurance. Okay. Or the reinsurance needs to be superior or more than the amount of the contract, which you can do it both ways. You can do it equal, or you can do it where the reinsurance is even more than the stated contract amount, okay? Or the amount that you're bonding the entity for all claims and for all services and all products and all everything else. That's what you're really doing, okay? At least in my understanding. All right? So that's on the payment bond, same thing, consistent all the way through. Now, notice, and I am going quick, I know, that the surety bond, okay, again, shows what as the principal surety. The name of the surety is gold. It is not a man or woman. It's our gold, which is tied to what? Our land, okay? But in the language that we put here, we affirm, which is our affidavit, that one, we're the principals for the surety stated here within the bonds. We're also the entitled officers for the United States and are full age and legally competent to execute this bond. Okay? This is done by affidavit. Okay? And then the acceptance of the bond by the United States for America, also highlighted right here. The United States for America does hereby accept this affidavit. Who accepted it? You as a fiduciary officer and as the government, because that's what we are. We the people are. Okay, we the heirs especially are. Okay? All right, now let's get to the reinsurance part. Oh, move up. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that little glitch. All right. So again, the trust entitlement. I told you that was going to come back again. What did we say the entitlement was? By definition, you go back. Now you can see why this was important. The trust entitlement is how much is going to be paid or that we're setting aside from our treasury for the performance of all of this, and it's in trust. And who is the one controlling the trust? Again, that's us. Okay? So when you're authorizing all of this, you're doing so in the capacity in every capacity necessary. The principal, the trustee, the administrator, the overseer, the head, whatever you want to call it. That's who you are. Okay? So when you look at the signatures, I don't want to use the word signatures. I'm going to say instead the autographs that we're using, okay? It shows 2 different places for a signature. And you are authorized to sign in both places. Why? Because you are more than just one individual. You're more than one. You're 3 in 1. Okay? You're a 9 ether being. With me, myself, and I, you are many hats. Many hats we wear. And that we're authorized to wear. So we have authority in so many capacities, it's not funny. So it doesn't matter that you sign this twice. You don't need a witness because the attest, and I should have just changed that language. I'll do that on the next ones, okay? Where someone else is verifying the first signature. You don't need anyone to verify your autograph. I'm not going to say signature. I retract that. You don't need anyone to verify your autograph. When you put your thumbprint on it, you've got the highest seal you need. And it's a testimony unto itself, period. Okay? then this is where things get a little tricky.
I affirm.
Okay.
Yes.
But let's bring a little clarity here. Now, in this case, I forgot to take out the dollar sign, the fiat sign, and replace it. But on my original copy, I did replace it. Okay. So the direct writing company, for reinsurance purposes, remember the whole purpose of the reinsurance is to have a deep pocket for excess above the amount of the payment and performance bond. That's what the reinsurance is there for. It is an excess layer of protection. Okay? Insurance was always about the protection racket. In the event that there was a large catastrophic type of loss. Okay? Let's just say that something happened specific to Orange County here in Florida. Some kind of specific thing that just a massive injury, and it exceeded $20 billion, which is the direct limit that we had on the performance and action bond. But we have reinsurance and a surety that exceeds even that amount. That's why I left the direct writing company for reinsurance purposes at $666 trillion in bank credits. You see that? This is called in insurance the deep pocket law. I'll put it that way, even though it ain't a real law. But in business, for insurance purposes, it's the deep pocket theory. You go to the one with the deepest pocket. That's what the bar attorneys were always looking for, who had the deepest pocket, and that's who they would sue if there was any way to connect them to the accident that just happened.
Islam.
Islam.
Check the chat. Can you check the chat?
No, I cannot, because that's I don't think that's a real person. Is that a real person?
Yes, it's a real person.
Yeah. I don't think it is, because you wouldn't be able to.
Islam, Noble Things. This is Travis Bay.
Nice try,
In the Internal Revenue, Austin, Texas. Can you explain that part?
Of course. Okay. When you look at the bonds themselves, when you look at the instructions for where to send them, okay. And in fact, if you may recall that initially, we had on here somewhere in Washington, D.C. And I mentioned, no, that would not be appropriate. That's not where it's supposed to go, because the form with the instructions said, for Form 56 and others, you were only using that location for comments and so forth. So when you look at these bonds, they were to go based on where you were, east of the Mississippi or west of the Mississippi. So by state, I'm in Florida. Florida goes to our Treasury in Austin, Texas. If you happen to be in Missouri, as one of my brothers that I've been working with, his is Missouri, okay, where he can send to our Treasury in Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, okay, our de jure Treasury, okay. That's the reason why I used Austin, Texas. Now, Light on hers used Ogden, Ogden, Utah, because that was the primary office where our Treasury can work from, or does work from, okay. Does that answer your question, brother?
Islam. Well, let me ask you, what about the Michigan?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know Michigan off the top of my head. I would have to look it up.
Islam. Justice Travis, you can also just Google Treasury bonds and whatever territory you're at, or where to send Treasury bonds, where to send bonds, and your territory, and it should bring up the document that says where each one goes for each state. Islam.
Gratitude.
Okay. Now, notice the two different writing companies, okay? The surety and the writing company are one and the same. They're both gold. If you remember from the surety document. The reinsuring company, the one who's in the act of doing the reinsurance, is the United States for America, for the full, because what did we deposit with our Treasury? United States for America. We deposited $666 trillion for the use of all of the heirs on our land. So the United States for America Treasury does have that amount available to them, okay, or to us. We have that amount. It's not something separate from us, so let me correct my language, all right? Now, the amount of the reinsurance, again, I left that at no limit because it's up to the full amount that's necessary. But I can't think of any circumstances under which that full amount would ever be used in one catastrophic event. I can't think of a single one, okay? Because we undervalue how much $1 billion is, let alone $666 trillion, okay? Case in point, as an example, I was recently doing some documentary study, and they mentioned how China used, I think, $1 or $2 billion and built an entire city that could house 60-some million people. They built an entire city for restaurants and apartments and stores, and it's completely empty, and they barely spent $1.5 billion, $2 billion. That's how much, and they could house 60 million people. So can you please tell me, if they could do that over in China, was there ever any reason in our land that anybody should be homeless when they could do that with just $2 billion? Are you trying to tell me they in the old mirror were wasting so many billions of fake money, sending it all over the place? But remember why they were doing it, because they are a civic and social welfare organization. Welfare. The welfare was for corporate America and all of the entities and instrumentalities that were feeding off of mama's mammary glands, okay? That's who they were feeding. They were never going to use the resources they claim to have for the benefit of the people. We are not going to repeat that error, okay? Because that's not what we're about. We're about bringing peace to the land, and we're about helping, according to the bonds of love, which is stated in this, okay? What binds us together? The Circle 7 told us, and it's quoted in here. Where'd it go? There it is, right here. Okay? It's in chapter 25. The bonds have already been handed to the United States, but when you read chapter 25 of the Circle 7 Quran, it tells you if you see your brother in affliction, you help.
Yes.
Okay. And so the reason why we're doing all of that is stated throughout this entire document consistently.
And that particular statement makes this an ecclesiastical document as well.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Okay. This is why I got excited when I sat down, slowed down, and really slowly read through each and every part of this, broke everything down, and I'm looking on my wall, and I see this picture that is so beautiful, it doggone near brought tears to my eyes.
Yes.
Okay? Because it is so much meat in here for you to chew on, and if meat don't have to be flesh. Meat can be the vegetable that Mother Nature provides for us. It can be cantaloupe. It can be honeydew melon. That's meat. Okay? The fruit, that's meat for you. Okay? It ain't got to be flesh when I say meat. All right? But symbolically, it's meat for you to chew on. Okay? Not for you to just sip down like a glass of juice. No, chew on it. Okay? Metastasize that in your mouth, spiritual mouth. So you can break down and your saliva can get the rest of your body prepared to feel the energy from what has been stated here and what we're doing. Okay? All right. Let me open up for any questions where anyone has had any confusion on the reinsurance part of this or any part of this bond. Hopefully I may be able to assist you. Let's open up for questions.
Noble Phoenix, I don't have a question yet, but it's because I want to. I'm going to do the same thing with this document that you did. Is just absorb it, just break it down, grab me a cup of tea, and just sit and just ingest and consume the document. And then I'm pretty sure I may have a question or two at that time. This is great information. Excellent.
Islam, brother. Justice Travis Bay. I got a question. You're printing that on bonded paper?
I did.
Okay, now when you send that off, or we use that, do we give them a copy of that, or we give them the one with the seal on it?
No, you use the original one, and you send it to them. To be honest with you, it should be on bond paper, but it is not 100% necessary to use commercial paper. All right, because of who we are, it doesn't matter what paper we use. In the old era is where they needed bond paper. Okay, this is a new era. All right, and so as long as it's got your authentic autograph on it and seal on it, you're good. These are court actions. These are ecclesiastical directions, as she just reminded us of. So, you know what? What ecclesiastical action do you know of must be on bond paper?
Islam.
Okay. So, no, we don't have to use bond paper if that's a preference and a choice. I did on my first one, and I just about ran out. I didn't have enough to do a second one. I said, I'm not even wasting any more of my resources to buy more when I don't really need it, because I was thinking, just like what I just said to you, I don't really need or have to do that because that's their rules. I'm not following their rules. They're following mine now. They're following ours and our leadership. That's the difference. Okay?
Islam.
Islam, brother.
Go ahead, sister.
Okay, Islam. Where can I buy those golden seals?
Any of your office supply stores typically will have those. You just simply need to ask for them. And a lot of times you can refer to them as the rounded gold seals that you use for embossers. And the store clerks will typically know what you're talking about. But your Office Depot, Office Max, FedEx stores sell them, things like that, places like that still office supplies. Okay?
Thank you, Islam.
You're welcome, Islam. Brother Howard?
Noble things. They are called notary seals.
Yes, thank you for that. Thank you.
Islam, I'm really happy that you broke this down in pieces, because everything starts small and we add more to it. Mm-hmm. And I had to go through this man in pieces as well, and look at it and look up certain words actually.
Yes.
The word certificate, it actually means bond.
Yeah.
In the Black's Law Dictionary. Trust and accounts deals with banking.
Yes.
So it's sort of the letter of credit that's going to be attached that I'm coming through behind you. I think you did an excellent job. I learned a lot, and thank you so much.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Well, are there any other questions? And if there are not, then we can
Islam.
Yield the floor. Go ahead.
Islam. Yes, I just wanted to state gratitude, much loves and appreciations to your attention to detail, your statement presentment, your craftful words and such. And look forward to going through this again and fine-tuning what was already demonstrated from the bonds that was already put on the public record. And so, because looking at this one and then looking at the presentment that was done the first time Empress Light ever brought this to our attention, it shows the progression of growth.
Yes. Right?
It shows the progression of how we are in just doing and perfecting and unifying and putting all our energy together and just continually to choose to do the work and continuing to choose to stay to it, because we are all growing, we are all learning, we are all sharing this knowledge, our demonstrations, our presentments that we do, our lessons, whatever it's a collective body, a collective unit, a collective nation. And so I'm just grateful that we are moving forward, and this is just a reflection of the growth, and we do love this presentment, and because just to have the actors who are the clowns and such even come in and try to get you to jekyllly look into the comments shows that we are on point. We know what we're doing. And just as Nathan was like, do you see this nonsense? The fraud that they're even trying to get him to even try to get a job when he's sitting here writing trillions of bonds is a testament of a joke, and a testament that we know what we're doing. We got this. We are rising and singing in one accord, and we're just fine-tuning out the noise. And what an awesome sound that is. So Islam, Ashe, gratitude, looking forward to Noble Howard's presentment on the letter of credit, and knowing that it's done. It started and was finished at the same time.
Awesome. Thank you for your observation.
Islam.
Go ahead.
Things I just want to say. I just asked the ancestors yesterday while I was going through the bonds, researching it. I was like, can you give me more detail? And you just pop up with this today. Ashe.
Boy, that's an answer right there, isn't it? That's
yes,
great.
It is.
It's not a coincidence, and it's not a mistake. It's right on time. There's one other point that I want to share. Under the reinsurance, something that I adjusted on the language that should be there, in my view, for what I'm doing in my territory, is the way I'm going to phrase that. You have you're all sovereign, and your heirs do as you need to, or you feel you want to, you will to. So here's what I changed for the description of the bond. This is strictly for the sheriff, okay? But it really applies collectively to anyone that was previously supposedly elected to a constitutional officer, okay? And the reason why I use this is, you'll see the reason. The bond mandamus, this writ, covers all Constitution for United States for America authorized activities by Orange County Sheriff's Office, okay, which I'm the sheriff, all right? I get that, and I have a letter that I'm sending to them, and it's going to restate, in on and for the record, through court action, that all that are operating under my jurisdiction will take their oath to the Constitution and be in their proper subject status, okay? But I specified that all activities must be Constitution-backed, cannot be against the Constitution, which means they cannot be working for the previous corporate municipalities, because those were unconstitutional, every last one of them. All the title deeds, all the warranty deeds, all the court actions, all of that unconstitutional, because none of those were competent jurisdictions in the first place, nor were they competent courts, okay? None of them were. So they were all unconstitutional. And that's why they were doing the bills of attainders. And that's what he's been executing previously in the old mirror. So we're going to set that record straight. But that is addressed with the language that I use right there. Then if you compare that to the language that I use for Orange County, I didn't use Constitution. Hold on, brother. I said this covers all Orange County land, okay? The title deeds basically on the land, the warranty deeds on the land that need to be restated, all registered property that they were claiming before, state agencies, instrumentalities, everything that's on the land, okay? And that needs to be restated. Now, this ties into what? When, like you brought up to our attention, you reminded us, we need to bond all of the neighborhoods. You know how much bonding work that is? So it's a lot. And
it's
everything
a lot.
around us, it's a lot. So we are going to need, we're going to want to use offices and hire some folks to assist us, okay, in their proper status as subjects in getting all this stuff restated, okay? But you're going to be the head one in charge, and you're going to be issuing orders and instructions to all the subjects that are helping you to get this stuff done and redone.
Yeah.
That's why I put this the way that I did, okay? Perhaps we'll develop a even more precise language than what I've used already. And I fully see, as more is revealed, that's going to be adjusted as well, okay? All right, with that, unless there's any other questions, I'm going to yield. I'll just give it a moment for anyone else who may have a question or comment.
My comment is just, this is amazing, and thank you so much. You have no idea what this does for my soul, that you have this much experience with insurance, and so you're bringing that to the table. You're not just coming to the table with your hand out. You're bringing to the table some amazing information to add to, not just to hear yourself speak, but to add to. Yeah. And to me, we cannot lose. We can't miss. We can't mess up when that energy is here, which we all bring that beautiful energy to the table, Islam.
I have to admit, I too was, I don't want to use the word impressed. I was encouraged and upbuilt by your previous experience in the funny mirror, in government procurement and so forth, and all of that, even with the military, because that gives you a sense of discipline when you're doing things, because they will teach you to be disciplined. I do know that. And I value that. I value that. But it also allows you to bring, from a procurement standpoint, a deeper appreciation for even bringing this out, because, this was so necessary. And if you understood procurement, wow, that is major, because that's all about contracting. It's all about bonds. It's all about all of that. That's how y'all moved everything in the military.
Yes.
I know that, because guess what? In investigating this, I came across the school board of Orange County, and how they did procurements through a specific procurement division.
Yeah.
And what do you think they had to do? They had to use the bid, bond, and payment process.
Of course. Yes.
And I'm telling you, so it all connected. And that's what we need to be able to see on our big mural on the wall, is the whole picture.
Yes.
With what you're doing and why you're doing, see that bigger wall with the bigger picture. Clear.
We have to have our own money to even do that. We could not use their stuff, their system, none of that, because it's not real.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So everything is connected together. Thank you, Noble Phoenix. Solomon.
Islam. Brother Howard, are you ready?
I am ready, as ready as going to be.
We are ready for you, my brother. We are ready for you. I think you have to do the transfer, Sister Light.
If my camera's not working well, I fractured the screen, so I can do the audio.
I'm going to stop sharing to send it back.
Okay.
Yes.
And Noble Howard, if you put the link back into the chat so that I can pull it up and share it, that would be that would help. That would help.
No problem.
I'm so excited. Oh, I'm so excited when those who have the experience bring it to the table, because that's what Congress is all about. That's what Congress is all about.
Chat.
And also, Noble Howard, did you put it in there?
Yeah, it's acting crazy. Just a second.
Okay. And I'll say this while Noble Howard is getting his link. In the next, this coming Congress, We have a I call it a capstone document regarding the Union Postale Universelle, which is French for Universal Postal Union.
Islam is now in the chat.
Islam. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and share this screen. Okay. Noble Howard, can you all see it on the screen?
Oh, I can see it.
I can too. Can everyone see on the screen the document?
Islam.
Islam. Okay, Noble Howard.
As we all can see, the first thing I want to present, and pardon me, I'm in a restaurant, so if you hear some background noise, I'll try to speak over the noise. The first thing we want to ask ourselves, that we all should ask ourselves, what is a letter of credit? Does anybody know what a letter of credit is? That's how I move before I even present anything. Can anyone tell me the basic definition of a letter of credit? Anyone?
Islam, if no one has, go ahead, Empress. If no one has, go ahead, Empress.
I have no idea. Islam, thank
you. Okay. It's in Black's Law's dictionary. It's in it's pretty much all the law websites. A letter of credit is an instrument. It's a financial instrument, okay, that's issued by a financial institution. Of course, that has to be a bank. That would be us. We're the bankers. We literally are issuing our own currency to ourselves.
Yes.
This is what Sister Light has been saying. We're the bankers, we're the fiduciaries, we're all of that. We're the bearers. It's our bonds. That's what they did in the de facto. They issued that to themselves, but they had various groups that were issuing these letters of credit to one another. That's really what we're doing. We're issuing it to ourselves. Okay, I'm off the screen here. Something else is on here.
Okay. I was just pulling up letter of credence, letter of, let's see, letter of credit.
Letter of exchange.
Yes.
While she's doing that, we are the creditors. Just know you and I are the creditors, as we've been taught. We are the creditors. We are the bankers. We have the DeLorean. We are the state. We are the government. We're also doing commerce, as you can see at the top of the header. So what I did with the header is I wrote a letter of credit, affidavit, mandibus. A mandibus is an order. It's not a request. So I'm pulling the credits from my living birth certificate bond that I restated. And that is the bond number up top in blue, because we're doing commerce. As you can see at the top, for the record and for the public record, as Sister Light has enlightened us again, what the public record is for us. And this is notifying the agent and notifying the principal. So we're the agent and we're the principals. Islam. So as you read down, I'm doing a court action. All rise and stand and remain standing, Protonk. This is a sovereign living ancient Article 3, Moorish American Al-Moroccan court action. It's a court action. So it's coming from our court, Islam. Most of it is self-explanatory. That's why I made sure everyone could have this particular draft that I'm drafting. It's not complete. This is something I'm still drafting and working on. As you can see, it says from. I am the fiduciary. I'm the trustee. I'm the attorney in fact. I'm authorized representative or presentator. I'm the original creditor and banker. Okay. So this is going to be short. Everyone can see how I crafted it. What is your status on this? Your appellation right there, your born appellation, makes you the fiduciary over all letters, numbers, etc., fonts, etc. You're the trustee. You're the attorney in fact. You're conducting all your legal and lawful affairs. No one is doing that except yourself. Islam. You're the banker. You're the banker. This letter of credit is going to the Treasury, as you can see. As you can see, I am. That's the ego song. I am Howard James Rayford, delivering original credit, etc., etc., etc. And I'm drawing these credits from my own estate. From your portal of entry account number, that would be their social security number. And then the other routing numbers, you can see this same routing number, Islam, that everybody sees. That's the same routing number that's on the bond. It must be routed, the funds must be routed from here through the route to you. As you read down, it says this letter of credit and affidavit manibus, which is an order, is presented. Pardon me, it's presented with all attachments. Some of the attachments, I say, well, your driver's license, your living birth certificate bond, and you can provide other attachments as well. I am authorizing, not them, I'm authorizing the following transaction line of credit. Some amount positive 100,000 to be reflected on my direct express card. Then you tell them where you want to pick up the express card. You can go through the post office, or you can tell them, look, send me whatever channels or portals for me to pick up that particular express card. It's pretty self-explanatory.
And obviously, you're not going to show the cult anything that you've gotten either, huh?
Also, if I may, Justice Howard, the way that we have done ours, instead of having them send something to us, we created it ourselves and just notified them that it exists now. So our merchant cards exist. We created them, and so we're just stating this is the route we took in order to create this merchant card.
Yes, sir.
So either way, I'm affirming what you stated here, and also offering another way to do it as well in connection with and affirming what you've done here.
Absolutely.
Beautiful demonstration. Beautiful.
That was actually on my mind as well, but thank you for affirming that.
Yeah. See, they're not really there because of COVID, quote unquote. So we have to do everything because they don't have they even if we told them to do it, they can't really do it because it's a system. We have to tell the system that it's already done, and the system just says, okay, this is done. When we see this card, we know that the credit is there.
That makes a lot of sense. As I said previously, I'm still working on it, still being restated, restructured. So I'm always open for anything to perfect this.
Islam. Also, this letter of credit, I see it being used for multiple ways. Also for the presentment for when we doing for our estate, for our domiciles, for energy and or the garbage and such, sanitation and things, because it came upon me the other day when Justice Nathan and I was having a conversation, and I was like, oh my goodness, when we put the notification of the bond to the county, we also have to give notification to that same county about the energy and the the other things that requires for the domicile to function properly, like waste management and thus and so, and that is all taken care of at the county level. And so this letter of credit can be recrafted and to state that as well. I can see that. Here's one. Gratitude, much gratitude for this presentment to you both, brothers and nobles and sovereign justices and all your many titles. Much gratitude for all your demonstrations and work and diligence and everything. Much gratitude.
Indeed.
I'm very thankful. Whatever we can do to help with our circle of people, because we have brilliant minds that's springing up from us. And, you know, like I'm in a restaurant, so right now I don't have my office anymore, so I come to a restaurant. And I'm here. And I've been collaborating with Sister Sasha, Phoenix, and Earl, and others. So we do have great minds among us. And this is just the beginning. But I have a question for Sister Light in regards to the merchant card. You mentioned the merchant card. Yes. We do have the machine. On the specific merchant card, I should make mention. Is that what you're saying? Make mention on the letter of credit of the existence of a merchant card?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That
no
would be
information.
your direct express card. It is directly done by your express trust. That's really what direct express is about. Mm-hmm. Is that it comes directly from you and from your trust. So because it's coming from your trust, you must create it. No one else can do that.
I told you.
Yes.
He did me.
For the record.
I heard you.
I didn't realize I was on the record. Of course.
You're on the record now, boy.
You're on the record. He did mention it. I said, I got you. I heard what you said the first time. And I was giving to that. I'm sorry. Say again.
I do have a question for you. From your perspective, what did you see about what you've done so far that you stated it was not complete? What in your mind was still not complete about this?
The merchant card.
Okay.
I wasn't clear about.
You were satisfied with what you did here.
Should we use theirs? Yes. Okay. I'm thinking in my mind, should we use theirs? Do we create our own? So Sister Light brought that back to my mind. Because we do have the machine.
Yeah.
Yes. Excuse the noise.
And here's the thing. You're going to actually, and this is what the ancestors have made very clear. We create our own first because we're actually going to be creating them for others along the way too. The new Moors that come in, we're actually setting up the supply line for everyone to come. Islam.
Islam. Okay, that's really pretty much it. That's the meat of it right there, as you can see.
Noble Howard, thank you so much.
I do want to ask one other question.
No, thank you.
At the bottom,
yes.
At the bottom of your document here, what does the 2MCN plus 23 plus PU, what does that PU stand for? And then underneath you have MSN plus 23 plus PU, cause number, slightly different. Can you tell me what those stand for? The PU.
Are you talking about at the footer? The footer.
Oh.
The footer. Yes. Yes.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's actually my record number. These are my record numbers.
Okay.
I'm using these as a court record number as well.
Yeah.
At the bottom. Correct.
That's great because it's unique, and and so as long as you have those, because I do something similar. I normally give all my documents a document name. A document ID. So that's along the same line. I see what you're doing. Okay, thank you.
Yes, as you can see, it deals with the Internal Revenue.
Yes.
Which is the location. And Peru Land of Flowers, Tax and Revenue. That is the name of my tax and revenue. Yeah. Because it's coming from our tax and revenue.
Noble Howard, if I may offer one little something. Your things are living, so they should not be in those brackets. So just take the brackets out and put a comma between them or something like that between them. But yours are living. Brackets are for things that are dead.
It's a forced habit. So thank you.
I know. And I love your record numbers. This is the case or cause number. This is the court action number here. This is the affidavit number, the record number. I get this. This makes complete sense to me. I love the way you put this together. This is so beautiful. I have goosebumps just looking at it. It's beautiful. Very beautiful document.
It's long.
Yes.
I want to commend both brothers, Phoenix, and y'all did some masterful work here. And the ancestors always come through. They always answer what I be looking for. And y'all just put this masterful work, and it's like you know, that pinky in the brain situation where now we have finally taken back. So, and I was looking for a letter of credit. Yes, I was looking for a letter of credit, and this right here is like a step into what I want to do. Yes, Infinity and Beyond, and also because we're doing the staple bond, I had restated some things, and the only thing is missing is the letter of credit. And the ancestors just handed it just now. Islam, thank you, God.
Islam, I want to thank. I just want to give thanks to the ancestors, to the Almighty. I want to also thank Sasha for just being in my corner and assisting me, really assisting me. A lot of times she's leading.
People might believe you if any of your shit works.
Indeed, no. Wow.
A lot of times, Sister Sasha's ahead of me.
Nobody believes you. No.
But you know, I just want to thank her for her help, her words, etymology, long length of wording. It's like being with a dictionary.
Brilliant.
Okay, no doubt.
She is brilliant.
So, yeah, just her support, her kindness, her singing.
Indeed.
Yeah. She's one thing to say now. So, and I want to say thanks to Phoenix for the insurance knowledge, and Sister Light, of course, for kickstarting a new light in us, if you would. Yeah, the brightness. Thank you. Tax after more to all the Moors.
None of your shit works, indeed. None of your shit works.
And even some of the AI recording.
Yeah.
We gotta have it. Yeah. What?
Keep coming.
Yeah. So, yeah. But that's as far as I've gotten. There's more. I can actually perfect that, but that's the base foundation that I've done.
It's very beautiful, very beautifully written, very competent, very just. When I think about the knowledge that is between all of us, I have no words for that. I'm going to have to learn another language.
You have no words because you can't even get a conveyance.
There's our encouragement, the cheerleading team.
It's the same bullshit week after week.
Cheerleading team. Are there any other questions, comments? Islam, nobility.
Nothing ever changes because none of your shit.
Thank you to the Phoenix and Brother Howard for that presentation. And is it also possible to get an email of this presentation so I could go through it a little bit more?
The links are in the chat, Justice Kansu, so you could probably pull them straight out the chat. You can pull the document straight out of the chat.
Okay, thank you very much.
And then Noble Phoenix and Justice Howard. Are these documents okay to go under the link? Provide the links under the video, or?
Yes,
absolutely. It's for everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful. We shall do that. Thank you both so much. Listen, my soul is full because we have so much knowledge between us.
Wasn't even.
You know, we have so much knowledge between us that is just amazing. And our ancestors meant for us to do it this way. They meant for us to do it this way. So I'm full. And with that being stated, I have nothing Islam.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to thank the nobles for the work they put together. I can imagine what it takes to do this. I can't say that I understand it all yet, but I've taken lots of screenshots, and I'm looking forward to going through the documents and having some questions later on. Islam, thank you.
Indeed.
And Islam. I'm just going to add my thank you to both of you, Noble Phoenix, Justice Howard. I hear you, and it was my pleasure to be there. But this was beautiful, so thank you. Not on
Islam, gratitude to you all.
Sister Light, I'm going to add the actual bond that I did for the state of Florida or Orange County. I'm going to add that into the chat right now so that those people who wish could use that for
lock them dogs up. Good. Lock them dogs up. She's not going to jail no more.
Moment. Islam, Noble Phoenix.
Give me just a moment to get that in there.
Let me say this too. This is the point that they were trying to stop us from getting to with all of that old stupid chatter.
Yeah.
Because, the synchronicity, the energy, our energy together is the whole universe knows what this means.
Yeah, but when you get a conveyance or cell phone,
blah blah.
Islam Empress.
Islam.
I want to add to this. There was an instance where I was attempting to go purchase a home, and I stopped the process because I heard something that coincided with what we were doing. The loan agent issued a bond to the title company, and then they issued it to the builder to pay for the house for me. And I said, stop. I don't want to do this anymore because I saw that I could do this by myself. If they were going to be issuing a bond, why can't I issue a bond, to be able to purchase my own property?
There it is, Empress.
Islam Empress, can you say that one more again? About how they was wanting to do it on your behalf. Can you state that step by step on what took place, please? One more again.
Yes, indeed.
You haven't gotten nothing tangible. Get some.
The loan officer created a bond, issued it to the title company. The title company issued it to the builder.
And that
was it. When I stopped her, I said, I don't want to go forward with this, because then I knew what she was doing. She was actually going to make me pay her payments in order to be able, it was paid for. She created a bond in my name, in my appellation.
And after
try to make me pay her when she already paid everybody else.
And so I have one question after. So the builder, was that the last step in so-called in their funny mirror, the payment for the property, or was there another? That was it?
And what I found out is the title company and the builder were owned by the same company.
Oh, honey. Man, listen. That was the National Insurance Title Company, the one that is now on freeze.
And then look, I'll give you the company name so you know who it is. They're the builder and the title company, J.R. Horton.
Oh, we talked about them before, honey.
J.R. Horton.
I know them. They are huge. All over the country. They were.
All over.
Yeah.
May I interject with this?
Horton, Horton.
Correct.
Yes. All of them have their own mortgage company. I used to have a license. They're all they changed this in the late 80s, and these large real estate companies made their own mortgage companies, salespeople, so they became conglomerates and knocked the little people like me out of the box.
Exactly. They have their own agents and everything sitting all in one spot. So they're all feeding each other in a circle.
Empress Light, you're muted. We can't hear you, Empress Light. And so, if I may.
It's a good thing you couldn't hear me. Go ahead.
What'd you say?
I said it's a good thing you couldn't hear me because I was going off.
I saw you. Yes. But they didn't put us nowhere that we aren't already, because we've been every place that they desired to be. That's why they enacted that part. Also, wow, thank you so much for that part, because that was something I have been desiring to acquire about those, because I knew, I was like, there's something I'm missing as far as notification wise. I'm like, I have to notify somebody else, because we have done so much to access domiciles, and that presentment I'm looking forward to sharing with the Congress, Justice Nathan and I, because we got some beautiful things unfolding here at New York. Yeah. But that part that the Empress just shared is so important, that we know whom else to notify.
That's why I was trying to get you to call me, because I wanted to talk to you about it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Email me again.
Right.
Email me again, please, and I will call you post haste.
Wow. If I may, do you all realize what they're doing when those companies hire their own bonding agents and things? Do you realize what they're doing?
It's conspiracy and fraud.
They're taking it out of the hands of us, the government, and privatizing it.
It's cheatment, yes. Privatization.
They're taking it from the public and putting it into private so that they can do whatever, so that they have interest and claim on your domicile forever is what they were attempting to do.
They're self-party to the contract.
Yes.
This is also exactly what I was talking about at the beginning of the presentation, about them feeding off of us when we were quiet. This is them feeding, doing a feeding frenzy like sharks.
Yes.
That's what they were doing the whole time.
On just one of us, they can make millions.
Hundreds of.
Yes. Just one heir. When I think about how many times.
Particularly.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Lien, levy, and bond. Yes.
Islam.
Indeed. Islam.
Grand Rising Empress, Cena Renee Randall, chosen appellation.
Empress.
Yamaya Haris Bay. Hello. Hi everyone. I'm sorry, I'm just a little tired. But my question is for Noble Phoenix. Grand Rising Noble Phoenix. I was in the assembly and then was kicked out. I know I was kicked out, and then came back in. So if you
put in the chat your presentation. I didn't get a chance to get it. Grand Rising, Brother Howard. I did get yours, but I would like yours also, Noble Phoenix.
Islam. And Empress,
Islam.
you know, we would not ever boot you out. We would not do that.
No, I know it wasn't you.
Yeah.
I know it. Yeah. No, I always know it's not.
Yeah.
I know what's going. I totally understand what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll be glad when it's over. Islam.
I see here in the chat someone put, Empress Chris put, she said, right now they're halting everything on mortgage loans. She says a friend was to close 2 weeks ago. Wells Fargo placed a hold on so-called funds release. They don't have not now fund to release.
That's right.
Not now. None.
I read that too, Islam.
And the beauty is going to be when we are able to move
We
something.
have all the funds.
How did you do that? What's going on?
Yeah.
We're not working through their system.
Right.
We have all the funds.
Yes. Always had it. Always had it.
Oh, bullshit.
There's some distortion in there. We can't hear you.
Islam. Noble Phoenix, did you put the very well, thank you.
Islam.
Speaking of the bonds, so today I was doing some research on the post office and the postal agencies. Can you hear me?
Yes, Empress.
Okay.
We can hear you.
So there's a postal agency by me. There's also the main post office, and so I was doing some research specifically on the postal agency and just claiming the getting the title to, or getting coordinates and everything else. But anyway, I was doing some research and I came across this article from a few years back, but it was talking about the postal agencies are in these rural communities, and the subjects in those facilities it was talking about that they were told that they have no pension, they have no and I know this is in the de facto and the funny mirror, so that we know that there wasn't anyway. But in this article, it talked about how this woman stated how the MP, the Member of Parliament, the subject in the office of Member of Parliament, approached her to start this or to manage this postal agency. And then she stated that they told her she would have to sign a bond agreement before she assumed the duties, but she was never given a copy of this agreement. Yeah. And so as we talk about the bonds, I mean, it came clear to me then again how every single institution, is this bond.
Yes.
The bond.
Yes.
And so the bond will be done on all of these facilities. The issue I'm having, but I'm due to your suggestions, I'm finding I'm not getting the tax information on these. They hang up on you. And anyway, but I remember with Cornwall County, you had stated I can use certain project numbers that are trackable. So I'm doing that, and I will be, bonding each of those facilities. This one particular one here, there are two of them actually, and they are the main one. It shows on the valuation records, government in inverted commas owned facility. These two are on. They're not even de facto government owners, and that's in inverted commas. That's de facto too, because I own them all. We own them all.
Yes, indeed.
So the one of them, there's no land there's no, what am I saying now, parcel number attached to this particular building. And so I'm still researching. There's a larger plot, and my spirit's telling me in my mind and everything, just do the larger plot, and the building is on this larger plot. So
then that's it. That's the key right there.
That's the key, right?
Yeah.
So those three will be bonded, and the post office, well, it is in our possession, but I will take care of the three steps. And
that's going to be important, especially for our next meeting, Empress, where you're talking about the post office.
Yes.
I'll
put it on the public record and pop it in the mail, but it will go on the public record sooner rather than later. So it was just the fact where the bond, it was just like,
yes. Anything that we're saying, you're going to hear them repeat. Anything that we're talking about, you're going to hear them repeat. Everyone is trying to keep from going under the water.
Let me add something. I bonded the constabulary, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and I put that on the public record. And I had just done it for a 500 million.
Yes.
So in the newspaper, it's not even been a week now, maybe 4 days ago, I see an article where they're stating, or they're saying, because they don't state, that they have 500 million to refurbish all police stations across the island. And I just thought, hello.
Yeah. Empress Shasha just gave us 500 million. The government just gave us 500 million.
Affirmed. That was, and so I'm seeing, and I've only, but the interesting thing is, I've only put it on the public record. I haven't actually mailed it, but it's on the public record.
Yes.
And I'm seeing, I notice on one of the things I've noticed on Script, some of the postings, that I put up, it says AI enhanced posting.
What they've done, Sasha, real quickly, they restated the title slightly. They changed a couple words or something, or spelling, because I looked, what did they change? They said enhance. What did they enhance? And that's what they did. They changed the title or something in your description of what the action was, the document was. That's what the AI enhanced referred to.
Interesting. Who gave him permission?
No, I didn't.
No. That's just me.
That's our system. That's our system pulling things in.
Yes.
And then an announcement is made. All right, listen. The public record is the system. That's what we were saying earlier. Yeah. We've already developed. It's already done.
It's absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. The money is already there. The credits are already there. It is the bonds that assist in that manifesting that way.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah. But see, somebody had to do it, Empress Shasha. En masse, we had to do it, actually.
Yes.
And it had to be done separate from their fake systems and enactments. So we had to keep everything clean and uncorrupted. And now our system is responding to everything we say. It's responding. It's picking it up.
So, in essence, the de factos have attached themselves to our system. Well, they've always attached themselves. But the fake mother matrix, which exists no more, is now attached to the AI, correct?
No. The fake system is dead and gone.
The only one standing on the board is us.
Yes, and see, if you look up the word de facto, Justice Howard, because you use that term, That's the perfect term, except it's not for them. We are in fact and at fact and at law.
Go ahead.
The government.
Expand
So,
beautiful.
De jure and de facto, we're both. Because de facto in Latin does mean in fact.
In fact.
Yes.
Beautiful.
We're both. And that's why we say what we said at the beginning. We are capite et corpus juris legalis, which is our statement that we are the lawful and legal, because legal and de facto is the same, lawful and de jure is the same.
Yes.
So
that makes sense.
We've been stating it. We've been stating it. And our statement has manifested.
And this is why we developed that de jure court. We lean the lever of that de facto court, bringing it into our de jure court.
Yes.
I got to bomb that de jure court. Islam.
And see, we're also the actual court in fact as well. So they don't have a space. That's what we're saying, is they don't have a space to occupy anymore. That's why they have to go. That's why they had to go, because we didn't leave any room for them to be anywhere around.
Yeah.
We are the two legs standing. They have no standing.
None.
Notwithstanding.
They are not withstanding. See, they were occupying the legal, quote unquote, space in their enactment. And we've always been the lawful. That's why signatures was still making things happen. It's just it did in last era didn't make things happen the way we wanted it to.
Right. And isn't that the reason why they were at law, not in law? So
right.
Because you made the comment, we are at law. No, we are in law, because we are the law. We're not at the house. We're in the house. It's our house.
Actually, we are the house. So we can say we're in it. We can say that. We can say we're at the house, because you know how we say we're gonna be at the house.
Yeah. And we mean we were really gonna be in the house. That's what we mean.
Yeah, but see, there's nothing over us or anything like that. So this roof is not over me. I'm over the roof because of the protection that we provide for this roof to exist.
Right.
And that's why we don't say in, but we can say in because we're at our own state. We're in our own state. We are our own state. So you're right as well, Noble Phoenix. It's still right. Anything we say can and will be used for us in our own state.
Now I like that part.
Yes. We can't. That's what staying separate is about. And be ye separate. Come out from among them and be ye separate. Come out of her. That's what that is over here. We can say what we want to say, and it will be used absolutely to make us more abundant and flourish. Islam.
Caleb Mohamed from Trinidad and Territory.
From what territory?
Trinidad and Tobago Territory.
Welcome, nobility. Welcome.
Gratitude. I just want to express my gratitude to the nobles for their presentment. Noble Phoenix, in terms of the example of the presentment that you shared, that you put in the chat, I am unable to download it based on region. So,
okay, I needed you to speak. I'm glad you spoke up, because I couldn't respond to you in the chat. So I'm like, I don't know if this was another AI attempt.
I get that.
So I'm glad you
I get that.
Your email. No, wait, I see someone else's email in here, not yours. Could you at least put your email in there, please?
Sure, no problem.
Let me say this too about that, about emails and things going back and forth, because there's another question in the inbox about that. Let your spirit be your guide. When people inbox you and say, hey, can you call me? Or if there are inboxes going back and forth, even if it says like Taj, because they come in and occasionally try to, I don't inbox people on the platform unless they ask me to. But you know, you let your spirit be your guide. If someone says call, don't be afraid, call them. And if they start talking crazy like what they were doing in the chat earlier, offering now one moment they're saying ugly things about their version of Noble Phoenix, and then the next minute they offering some supposed high-level general schedule job to Noble Phoenix because he done shut them down with this presentment today. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. Any way that they can try and get at you, they in the last era, because that's not now, you know. So let your spirit be your guide on all of that, on who you communicate with and everything. Your spirit will tell you. Even in our sleep, our spirit told us when things were right with people and when things were not right with, you know, when people would approach us and speak and say things. Something in our spirit would say, they seem like they all right with me. I'm okay, I'll get at a shot. And you would go as far as the spirit would tell you, and then the spirit would say, okay, that's far enough with that one. Let your spirit speak to you, you know. Is there anything further? Islam nobility.
Yes, to help the Empress out with location stuff, like the libraries have all the historical information on buildings. So if you want to check your local library or the people in the office of librarian, they'll definitely give you all the information on the property because they record that. That's what the library is a big recorder anyway. That's how I found information on the post office here because it didn't have block and lot. It didn't have a parcel, so I had to go to the library and get the historical information, and then I got all the information on the property in order to bond it.
Islam.
Yes, thank you for that. It's a little bit different here. I'm going to tell you that, but thank you for that. I can access actually the archives, and so I will definitely dig a little further, but thank you for that.
And to give you a little bit more information, it's really just one big archive, because here in New York territory, they control, like, the archive stretches from here all the way to England, London, all the way back to the Vatican, because the Vatican is a library too as well. But these is all public offices. They're open to the public. And all you have to do is just write them an affidavit. They know who we are already, and they happy to give up information.
Islam, that is in theory, but I shall do it. I'm going to try, because it's not to say that the system isn't the same, because it is the same system. I mean, every worldwide, universally, but we have some issues here. But that's a very good idea, and I am going to do that. So,
you know, Empress Shasha, also in some places, you will have to create more than other places.
Yes, and that is absolutely yes.
That's actually what the spirit is telling me about where you are, Empress Shasha.
I affirm it's the same it's based on what I've come across so far. It's the same in Trinidad and Tobago territory.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the crown the quote unquote crown had claimed both of those places, Canaan land, or Trinidad and Jamaica. Yep. So you all will create whatever is there for you to govern.
Absolutely.
It's for you to create. Yeah.
Islam
nobility.
Islam, is it that the technology is not there, or that you have to go back to some of the older instruments?
It's not. It's a little of that, but it is infrastructure. It is the people.
Yes.
It's the Wild West, and it's very much so. It's not that because the technology is there in places, but what should I say?
They're dead.
Well, yeah,
Mark,
it's
mentally.
the levels of incompetence and debt is quite high, and
Can I suggest this on the technology side? If you have access to a phone, do have your phone find your longitude and your latitude where you're standing, and then move to each cardinal points of each side of that area and go out 126 degrees on each cardinal point and claim the location that you got and the points. And if you have to do it the old-fashioned way, you would use a map and try to pinpoint that area and use a compass to graph out the cardinal points on each side of that specific location.
Thank you for that. That's something for me to actually go and play around with. The cardinal point, all of those things are accessible. I can find longitude, latitude, all of those things I can find, I can locate. Though that is there. It's in place for the island.
Yeah.
The issue is more when you get inside the buildings and the actual human resource.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
All of that is open to your creative spirit, Empress.
Right.
And you can actually do it the way that you will to do it, rather.
Yes. And
that's the beauty of it, is that we've been given suggestions on how to do things here on the mainland because of the mainland being what it is.
Right.
But we're still having to create too, so it's really not.
We all have to do this exactly.
It's our land.
I just get to pull out my creative bits.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Let me say this too. In conclusion of this Congress, I put on the screen the logo for the Universal Postal Union. We were talking about bonds a minute ago. This is a picture of the bond process. You see how they're all holding hands, but there's a little space in between here.
Yeah.
There's a little space. This is them bonded around the earth. Okay. But there's a space right here in between. And so on ours, we just connected the space and made it so that there's no spaces in between our bonding process. That's how important bonds are, is that they wrote it even into the logos so that we could look at them. And logo means word. Logos means word. And
Islam.
Islam.
Those leaves around them.
Yeah.
Are those called laurel leaves?
Yes.
Yes. I looked that up 20 years ago. I was so curious years ago, but yes, those are laurel leaves.
And that word, laurel, it has the word law in it, and it has L in it.
Right. Real law.
Yes.
Real law. Right.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
So with that being stated, I have nothing further. We will meet again on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So if there's nothing further, peace and grand rising to the sovereign, original, indigenous, natural, defined heirs. And thank you again, Noble Phoenix and Noble Howard. Beautiful demonstration.
You got to turn it back Saturday, so tomorrow.
Back Saturday more. Salute.
Islam, the kitchen cooking was amazing.
Yes, it was.
Indeed. Islam.
Delicious.
Islam.
Freedom and justice.
Islam.
Islam.